Welcome to Follow Your Joy podcast, where intuition is the doorway to your elevated creativity, more joy, and prosperity. I'm your host, Marla Diane, and I've been living an intuitive life for decades as a creative. That translates to transforming creative entrepreneurs' lives for over 27 years through two businesses as a business strategist and a life designer. And prior to that, an entertainment publicist and talent manager. Follow Your Joy is an entrepreneurial resource for creatives sharing their challenge to victory stories through the lens of listening to their intuition. It's time to make joy your inner GPS for life and business decisions rather than lean on your logic and reason first. You'll not only be following what is most authentic for you, but you will live the beautiful life meant just for you. Want to learn how to access, trust, or up-level your intuition? Join me in the conversation to find out how. All right, we are back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Follow Your Joy. So today we will be talking about what I consider a very sensitive topic, but widespread, women's health concerns. While researching for this episode, here are top 5 concerns, women's health concerns from 2024 to 2025, the whole year. Obviously, we're just starting 2026, so I'm not going to research that. Okay, here are the top 5. Reproductive health and abortion access following the overturn of Roe versus Wade. Access to abortion and contraception varies, widely by state. Second, chronic conditions and preventive health care. Rising states of obesity and asthma, along with 20% of women reporting fair or poor health, higher among LGBT and disabled and low-income women. Number 3, maternal mental health. Counties with severe risk of maternal mental health disorders nearly tripled. Number 4, mental health access. Okay? Mental health conditions are a leading cause of preventable pregnancy-related deaths. And number 5 is reproductive system disorders. Of the 5, we'll be focusing on number 2, women's weight, the disease of obesity, and it is a disease, it's not a condition, and solutions to this. My guest, Matt Stern of MyStart Health, has been building business from the ground up for over 20 years. He has overcome major obstacles. You all know as an entrepreneur what that requires, and has learned from years, of being in the trenches, from being homeless and living in a pool house at 17, bless your heart, to starting his first business at 26. He experienced it all, Failed partnerships, multiple successful ventures, and a $300 million in growth and expertise in digital marketing. He founded and currently operates MyStart Health, where he and his team focus on expanding access and affordability to life-changing medications. They started with GLP-1s and now are moving strongly into women's health, specifically building out personalized HRT programs. So Matt's customers are 85% women over the age of 50, hence why we're here. And he says he's been working hard the past 2 years to understand women's health at a deep level, which I'm eager to hear, what's come of that research. And then even more, it was his mother and his wife that inspired him to pursue this. And he's building an amazing team of women's health experts and advocates. And you're going to hear that today. So thank you for joining us, Matt Stern.
Marla, you're amazing. Thank you. That was an incredible introduction. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, do you actually prefer Matt or Matthew?
Matt's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
good.
mom would say Matthew, but Matt's good. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Matthew.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's, of course, let's start with some highlights, and we have a lot in depth to go into beyond this first question. But give us just some highlights, obviously, of your journey. What kind of brought you to here today, all right, to where you were, to where you are now.
Yeah, I think, you touched on it a little bit in the intro. I think really my journey definitely started at 17, right? When I was put up against it and had to figure life out at an early age of how was I going to survive and how was I going to make it happen for myself and my family. And I think that mentality has carried forward with me
Mhm.
throughout this journey. As you mentioned, like entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. So, even in these last 3 weeks, I feel like I've been tested in a way that I was never tested in the previous 20 years of doing this. It's just always coming. Life is always coming at you, and it's not getting any easier.
Mhm.
So that's really where I feel like it starts. And then, fast forward to today, as you also mentioned, I built a lot of different businesses in a lot of different spaces. And what I found in my expertise in digital marketing was that there's really anywhere you could point that energy to. When you have a capability of acquiring customers and you can do it in any industry and you can engage with those folks and build a business around them, you have optionality around where you apply that energy. And in this latest phase of life, you touched on it a little bit. It's definitely my mom and my wife that have been the driving cause really over the last like year and a half.
Mhm.
But more so when I hit the reset button on the entrepreneurial journey and I was looking at any business that I could do, I also had a daughter at the time. And when you have kids, it shifts everything. It shifts the narrative of like why you show up every day to do what you're going to do. But also, it planted this seed in my head of like, what is the business 10 years from now that my daughter's going to look back and say, my dad did that? And so, like, that's the
Okay.
legacy piece, right? And so, when I was looking at different businesses that I could enter, there was also this pivotal moment. I had some experience in digital health previously that fed into this, and the rise of the GLP-1 medications across society. I was seeing friends and family losing weight, and um, when I looked at the marketplace, I saw a lot of companies. Obviously a crowded space, competitive space, but I didn't see the level of personalization that I felt like we could access
Okay.
um, in the digital marketing strategies that I've employed over the past, like this level of personalization and getting to really know the person at a deep level, was kind of missing from that piece. And so I saw some competitive advantages that we could apply. And in general, I've always been attracted to, really competitive environments. And so yeah, that was it. Healthcare to me represented the perfect culmination of everything I had done. That I could engage people in a way that created a lot of value in a marketplace, but also created a lot of value in their lives and could be a business that I'd really be proud to be a part of. And so that's what was my guiding force in getting into it. And, fast forward to today, we have over 16,000 patients that have joined the platform. We're changing lives every single day. It's the most exciting part about what we do. And
Mhm.
yeah, now over, like I said, the last 18 months, like this push into women's health, like we really let our audience tell us what the needs were, right?
Right.
As we kind of learned, 85% of our audience is women over the age of 50. And as I went deeper into what are the other things that we can do to come alongside these women and really uplift their life, hormone therapy became the topic, right? And it's really has emerged as a big talking point, but it's still completely underserved in the general healthcare community because of 20 years of stigma that's been placed on it. So really excited to share this with you and your audience and kind of get everyone up to speed on why this is such a big and important issue for women's health.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us a little more about the mom wife story. Why did they inspire you? What was going on?
Yeah, it's two sides of the same coin. My wife, after having our daughter, um, battled, battled, just worked so hard in the gym, eating right, doing everything right for her body. She was so strong. Like, she is one of the strongest women, period. and so committed. Like when she gets her heart like heads and heart set on something, she just does it 110%. And yet she wasn't seeing the results in her sleep and how she was feeling about herself and her body. Like she couldn't get it back to where she was just like feeling like herself. That was her biggest complaint. It was just like, it just don't, it's not right. And we went to doctor after doctor after doctor that said, you're so healthy. Your blood work looks great. Like everything's great. And she'd come back and be like, they said I'm great, but I'm not. Like that's not the answer, right? And so the missing piece was, trying to find someone who understood holistic health, which also in that experience was a really difficult journey. Just that the resources weren't there generally to find someone who understood the holistic approach to the complicated system that is a woman's body and her hormonal system. And so eventually she found someone, but it was like 4 years of finding someone, and it was
Mm.
multiple thousands, like very expensive. This like 6 month protocol they put her on, and they wound up prescribing hormones and GLP-1s. And I was like, well, that's my business now. So that makes it pretty easy. And so it was really watching her go through that entire journey and being told multiple times, it's just a part of life. This is just what it is. You're healthy. Everything's good. You're all good. And then as I started to bridge this topic with my mom last year, she was like, I remember the moment that I went to the doctor and I was having these hot flashes, and they said, this is part of life. This is the phase of life that you're in. Because at that point, they had done this study. The Women's Health Initiative was $1 billion study. It was the largest study done at that time.
Mm.
And the Women's Health Initiative determined that hormones cause cancer in women. That was the outcome of that study. And no one, because it was such a big deal at the time in the early 2000s, that became the status quo. And so for the last 20 plus years, the medical community has been embedded with this stigma. So doctors have grown up in this system believing that, right? That is the way it is. And and it was only the outside system that really has challenged that now to date. These holistic medicine doctors that have like actually had real experiences with real women using hormones to be able to challenge the system. And it wasn't until 2005, sorry, 2025, after 23 years of this, that finally the FDA opened their doors to these women's health experts and let them in to tell the story of what they've been
Wow.
experiencing over the last 20 years to make this shift. And then November, the head of the FDA stands up and says, this is the biggest blunder in FDA, or sorry, in medical history.
This as in the FDA
Putting up,
allowing alternative medicine.
no, the biggest blunder in healthcare history was the black box warning put on hormones, that hormones cause cancer in women.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. This is
So here we are.
2025 is when they finally realized this.
Yeah, November. I mean, it's fascinating to see him go on stage and make this statement to the world. And now they've started to remove the black box warning. So there's this shift happening at the core healthcare level of our, how our government runs. But still, you have 20 years of stigma that we're fighting against. So there's a lot of education to the market, which is why I'm so excited to talk to you. Like there's
Yeah.
so much educating to the market that has to be done. But there's big companies being built around this space now. It's coming, like it's emerging, and it's a super exciting space to be in because of all the studies and all the research and all the education that's coming. It's just like it's bubbling up. It's going to happen.
Oh, I mean, I can't tell you how pleased I am to hear this. It's a bummer it's taken that long, right? And I've
Yeah.
known, being a woman that's out there looking for answers, and I tend to always have doors shut in me. I'm a breast cancer survivor from 2003,
Oh,
right?
amazing.
We're talking 23 years. And
Yeah.
nobody wants to touch me. And it's like, good luck, go do yoga.
Oh
I'm
God.
like, oh my God, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm not the only one they're saying no to. I've tried many, many places over the years to get not only bioidentical hormones. I personally won't touch anything else other than those.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
the point is, because of that old archaic study, nobody wanted to even help me.
You're right.
It was, I can't even tell you how frustrating it is. So I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
what am I
So
supposed to
so so
do?
in my mom, like in my mom's case, same thing, right? Like she was
Mhm.
told no option, part of
Yeah,
life, and
yeah.
now she's it's too late for her. Like that's part of the sad part of it is like there's a whole generation of women now that are through menopause where it's too late. And she has terrible osteoporosis. She has heart health issues and all these things now that they're pointing to that had she been on, not that it's totally preventable, but had she been on bioidentical hormones from the time she entered menopause, that she'd be in a lot better condition today. And it's just yeah.
Wow, and
So
how old is your mom?
77.
Well, I mean, here's because I tend to look, the glass is always, yeah, full. I
Yeah.
have the happy chip in me. And
Yeah.
I look at optimism, and that is, I'm not so sure I agree with it's over and she doesn't have any other options because it's too late. I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with that. Here's why. And I do for the listeners and maybe for you too as part of your research. And that is, have you heard of Dr. Mindy? Oh my gosh, that's with a P.
Health?
Thank you. And her latest book, Age Like a Girl.
Yes.
You familiar with it?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Have your mom read
I definitely will. That's a good
it.
call.
Because there's no, she has hope.
For sure. She has hope in a lot of ways.
A lot
I
of
was
ways.
only referring to bioidentical hormones and the impact that it
Could have made.
could have made during that course of of her
Oh,
life.
yeah,
Because
I gotcha.
there aren't a lot of solutions for osteoporosis in this moment in time, except for just, some really tough medications.
Well, for sure, and obviously exercise, but in Mindy's book, in fact, I was amazed. I was stopped in my steps when I watched the first of many videos. It was Marie Forleo was interviewing her, and this was in December. I remember this, just December, right? And I'm watching this, and my mouth just dropped. And they were having a very vulnerable, open discussion about women, right? Premenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, and what was going on with both of them. And I'm like, who is this woman? Because she's very, very into, alternative, right? Alternative
Yeah.
methods, and that it's actually she's changing the narrative, which I love. She's changing the narrative of menopause and postmenopause for women as it being a positive, not a negative.
Yep.
And that's what her whole advocacy is in her book and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of the greatest advocates. She's definitely one of the largest like flag bearers carrying the torch for
Very
this cause.
much, yeah,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk then more about your, again, you say personalization and impact. So, what do you mean by that? That's what MyStart Health, that's what you want to represent that is different from everyone else out there, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So I take them one at a time. Personalization to me is really getting to know someone at a deep level, like their health history, where they stand today, what their true experience of life is today. And
Yeah.
that takes a special kind of clinician. I'm not a clinician, so it's really taken me going out and finding the groups that are out there that are really well educated on the future of health, on these innovative hormone therapies, peptides that are coming on the market and really changing people's lives. So it takes a unique group of folks that also have a special kind of heart to connect with the person on the other side of the phone, right? Or on the other side of the Zoom, like we are
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
right? I think that's a special type of clinician. So that's been a search for the last year in seeking out those individuals that really have a heart for this, that when they get on the line with one of our patients can really provide a high level of care and personal touch that comes with that. And then downstream, truly, the products that we're offering around bioidentical hormones are truly able to be personalized to each individual person. So the way that they deliver, the way they're delivered, the way they show up, the way that we're customizing the care through your journey, we really look at it as a journey, both on the GLP-1 and on the hormone side. And there's actually some cool studies about the use of the two together that we could get into as well. But the bottom line is the entire program from start to finish, we try to get as high touch as we can possibly get with you to get as much data back on what is your experience coming into the program with MyStart, then what is your experience during your journey with us so that we can engage you for hopefully your entire journey with us, right? Years is what we hope. We're still, new in this game, but like that's our goal. Our goal is to be your source and resource for all these innovative medications, and hopefully be someone that can really coach you through the process and hold your hand to give you a lot of confidence.
Lovely. And so what you found while you were out there was the opposite.
Yeah, a lot of Me Too programs. Yeah, it's a lot of check the box.
Right. Yeah.
You know, yeah, here's a script. Good luck.
Okay. All right.
To the biggest companies in the world, right? All my friends that are on
Mm.
Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk, like the big medications that are out there, same thing. Like they're not consumer companies, so they're just mass drug manufacturers
Oh,
making with $1 trillion market cap, getting all these medications on the market, but there's zero follow through and zero follow up. It's like it's amazing that they have so much capital, but zero care at the patient level.
that is that's not surprising. It's not surprising to hear that it's
No.
actually human beings that you're treating. And that needs to be that's the end user, if you will. Yet the framework is, like you said, these mass drug companies. Oh my God, I can't even get started on this.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
that
even
could take
go.
us
I'm not gonna
that could
even
take us
go
too
there,
far.
right? Not gonna
Yeah,
even go there. But yes, good. I'm glad that's one of your values in the company. And then
yeah,
the impact, all right? The impact, talk about that. So personalization and impact.
yeah. So the impact to me means two different things. I think daily it drives me when I get texts from patients and I find out that someone has lost 60 pounds on our program, and they leave us like a kind review, or oftentimes, someone will have an issue, and I'll reach out to them personally. I'm still doing a lot of that in our business, because that is what gets me fired up every single morning that I get out of bed, is like the opportunity to impact an individual's life is truly why this is so exciting. Uh, on at a business level, though, I think that's our value that we're creating in the market, because the reality is, if you could get to the right doc, you could get these medications prescribed from a lot of different companies in a lot of different ways. And so you have to feel the impact that we're making on your life by our ability to connect with you and really create an experience that's wonderful, right? Like that's what we're trying to drive at as a company. We have like this heart score that we're measuring on a daily basis, and this heart score is something that we have a team member who's responsible for. He puts out the heart report, and
Yeah.
like that's where we're trying to come from, right? It's trying to come from a place of like true care, really understanding people at a deep level, and then bringing clinicians around us, like I was just speaking to, bringing clinicians around us that bring that same heart to it, that they really love the people on the other side of the line, that they love their patients, and that they want to get to know them at a deep level so that we can provide a great level of care. And that's the greatest impact that we can have on someone's life, is coming alongside them and giving them that love.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you're saying behind the scenes, you have within your system this heart score?
Yeah,
Okay, I like that. That's a
yeah.
nice way to kind of measure it. Now, you may or may not have an answer to this because I know this is somewhat of I wouldn't say it's controversial, but when I was watching Oprah, and I don't know if you saw her special or her podcast, when she was interviewing, this was a month or two ago.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she was she wasn't co-author, but she was endorsing, and her story was in that book. And so she had that all the audience, the small audience, and the whole topic was this. What came up was the maintenance. So let's say you lose the weight you want to lose.
Mhm.
I'm like still concerned. I don't know where to go with this. Like, does that mean you have to be on the GLP-1s forever, or you'll end up gaining the weight back? I mean, what's the maintenance to keep the
Yeah.
weight off? Yeah.
I have a couple different answers.
Okay,
I
good.
think, yeah, one of the answers is, I think you're going to find out this year through a lot of the published reports that are coming out, because there's so much money pouring into this space to try and understand the long-term health effects of GLP-1s.
Okay.
And ultimately, those health effects are all health benefits, is what we're seeing in the research. So you're going to see reports coming out around sleep, heart health, what anti-inflammation does for longevity, um, obviously what losing weight does in terms of longevity, for your health span, and health span becoming another word that's going to be, more and more used to talk about this journey. And so if you're lowering inflammation in your body, you're improving your brain health, you're improving your heart health, you're improving your joint pain, do you want to go off the medication?
Mm,
That's my question, right? Like, at
mhm.
what point do you see diminishing returns from these medications? I don't think so. Like, I'm on it. I don't feel like I have to lose any weight or want to lose any weight. My wife's the same way, doesn't want to lose any weight. We feel good about that, but the long-term benefits are coming. And so, if you can get to a maintenance dose that's low enough where you can stay on the medication, continue to reduce the inflammation, prevent any pre-diabetic or diabetic risk to your life, you're going to gain years on your life. Period. That is known. Additionally, I'd say most of the other stuff that we're talking about comes down to habit change. And how are we facilitating habit change in your life across the things that we know really matter for longevity, which are the core ones: diet, exercise, and sleep. Are you doing those things right? And so losing weight will help you sleep better, but it's not going to help you get back in the gym. And it's not going to help you change the way you eat and the amount of protein you get in your body. And I think that's a major missing piece of education that is starting to also bubble up. I think, that I follow a lot of women's health experts,
Sure. Yeah.
and a big push, right, is protein. I think for so long we haven't understood the importance of protein. And then the second one that you're hearing more and more is weightlifting. For
Yeah.
so many years, aerobics, spin, running, jogging, all of that has been so much the focus of how you get lean and like get the body that you want. And like that's another just total misnomer that, if you're really up on what the latest is in women's health, weightlifting, lifting heavy, getting in the gym, like, or getting a home gym, right, where you can really put some heavy weight on your body is amazing for your bones and actually shapes your body in the way that most women want to be perceived. It's not just like skinny, but it's strong and capable and empowered. So those things become super critical alongside a protocol like a GLP-1 protocol. But in general, for aging, uh, men and women, that is so critical, those three pieces.
Yeah. That's for sure. And obviously, that's all part of the program when you're working with your patients. You know, hearing from again Oprah about, obesity being a disease, right? It's not a condition. There's nothing like wrong with you. In other words,
Yeah.
it's you're treating a disease. And that kind of dovetails into the maintenance. It's like, well, if you're prone, as in it's a disease, you're going to need to stay on the medication, just like I guess you would if you had asthma, if you had diabetes, right? Is that where we're
Yeah.
kind of going with this?
I agree with that. I think that's a really good yeah, that's a really good reframing of it as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's talk about then your intuition, right? Since that is an important platform here. And what I want to really kind of dive into is how you use as a man, right? And men have fantastic gut instincts, right? Doesn't matter female or male, we have intuition, right? So how do you, first of all, use it in business and then kind of share a story, right? Which I think it was from last year when it really kind of hit a breaking point for you. A story where you really use your intuition that kind of created, right, a kind of a change, if you will, a transformation, right, in your life. So one, yeah, how do you use your intuition in business? And then kind of a personal story.
Yeah, I think of intuition as a journey as well. I think it's taken me a long time to get to a place where I could really trust my intuition. I think
Mhm.
it's through massive failures and successes that we become more aligned to like what our true self is and what we really value, and ultimately that leads to a better understanding of ourself.
Yeah,
um, but still, like, the self-doubt I think is very real for everyone at every
yeah,
stage of life, and so
yeah.
it's this reconnecting to the intuition process that we go through over and over again, in these different phases of life. I think for me, it was realizing that every time I have not trusted my gut and trusted my intuition, it hasn't worked. Like if you just take toll of like all the times it's
Yeah.
failed, I was like, I knew that. I knew it.
Yeah.
And I still did it because I thought the money was there and it was going to happen. And like, didn't matter who the person was on the other side of the table. I knew that guy wasn't a good guy, but I
Yeah.
did it anyway. Right. Like I knew that
Yeah.
person wasn't the right moment at the right time, but like it was right there. So I went for it anyway. So it's a lot of those negative experiences that lead us to, hopefully learn from our lessons and learn to trust that bubbling up that happens in our gut and in our heart.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, in the past year, I kept getting hit with this feeling like there was something bigger brewing in this industry and in this space. And that was like my intuition to go all in on women's health. It was partially driven by our customer base and seeing and these experiences of women going into experiencing menopausal weight gain, right? Which you explained as like, I think there's a couple different ways that like Oprah explained it as a disease, like you were saying, that there's this disease of weight gain, which I think is totally relevant and appropriate and a good reframing for the public to just recognize that like this is an epidemic and it's also driven by disease. Also, menopause is a major part of 50% of our population's life that completely throws your hormones in a loop and also is helped by, hormone therapy and GLP-1s, right? So, like, I think there's my intuition was that, like, as I saw well, I had these experiences, right? My wife, but you have to have multiple experiences, I think, to like
Sure.
lead you to this moment, right? But like,
Yeah.
I saw what was going on with my wife for the last 4 years. I had this conversation with my mom. I then saw the FDA have opened this panel to four women's health experts to come in and spoke for 2.5 hours on the topic of this. And like after spending those 2.5 hours listening, then my entire social media became like basically I'm a 55-year-old woman on TikTok and Instagram. Like that's how they target me. So now I'm just flooded with this content. And so um I I'm all in, right? Like that is where I've trusted it and where it's led me to. And it's made me search out incredible clinicians like Dr. Christy Funk, who's a breast cancer surgeon down by you.
Mm.
She's in Beverly Hills, and has come alongside us as our chief women's health advisor. And it's amazing to see a clinician at her level, right? One of the premier surgeons in the entire country taking this stance that actually you're more likely to survive cancer if you're on HRT. So, complete shift of the narrative. And she's out there banging the drum as well. She was just on an incredible mini series that I don't know if you checked out, but it's on or Apple TV,
Mm.
called Balance,
Mm. Mm.
produced by Alyssa Milano. Again, like this topic is starting to get there, but most people don't even still know about it. So I think your audience will love it. Christy's featured on this production.
Mm.
So she's right there, like leading the charge with all these powerful women.
Mm.
And yeah, so we're just constantly seeking out, clinicians and powerful women like yourself, Marla, that are ready to like take a stand against this and say enough's enough. Like the time
Yeah.
is here to change.
It really, really is the message today and the narrative is like, okay, enough of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
The intuition, and if I may kind of add a little bit of a side note, because what was going on for you is it does for everybody, and as you know, that's part of my platform is helping women have a blend of the feminine, masculine principles, and not gender everybody, in life, right? And the feminine leading, as in listening to the intuition and letting the logic of masculine, carry out the guidance, if you will, take the steps, do the strategies, do whatever. But what stops men and women in their steps from not listening, which is the core of your story. It's like, oh my God, how many times do I need to like finally fail
Yeah.
before I finally listen to it? Right?
Yes.
Right, right. Like if I could, get paid every time somebody says what you've just said, I'd be a wealthy woman today. As in, it just
Yeah.
Crazy. It's exactly the same thing. When I didn't listen is when I had the mistake, or why didn't I listen? Blah, blah, blah. All right. The only reason, and this is what I'm getting at, the main reason we don't is because what I teach, our beautiful brains get in the way. Our beautiful brains hijack our intuition. Our intuition lives in our body, doesn't live in our head. And so what happens is, and this is what I'm teaching how to reprogram, you lead with your intuition and let your brain follow it, not the other way around, right? Because the way we're wired, our fantastic, machinery up here in our head, it doesn't know intuition. It's only a recording machine. It's only going to repeat the last, 50 years of your life and the same stupid stories that keep going on in your head, right?
Yeah.
It's not wired to see the future. It's not wired to imagine. You
Yeah.
use that, right? You use the brain to help you imagine, but imagination comes from your intuition and your higher power. So this is this is what I say is when you catch yourself going doubting you what the message is, the intuitive message, go, oh, that's my brain. Oh,
Mm.
that's my logic, because our brain does not want us to change. And intuition requires us to take risks and change direction. And there's no one iota of logic in intuition, as you know. So, all this to say is if you can literally, right, identify, get into this kind of new approach, new mindset that says, okay, I'm catching myself in the middle of stopping myself from listening to my intuition. Got it. It's my brain. Thank you. Not today. You can be here when I get on the computer. And that's what I do. That's what I say. I'll literally talk to my brain like, okay, you don't belong here right now. It's okay. Love you. Come back when I need you to organize something. Right now, I'm listening to my intuition. So
It's great coaching.
you see what I'm saying? It's a relationship. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great coaching. I love
Yeah.
that.
It's just something to obviously for you and listeners is it's just literally a balance of knowing when your brain is trying to take the lead and when your intuition is trying to take the lead. That's simple. Okay. It's not easy.
No.
Not easy at all. Okay, let's see. Where else do we have here? I think we've got that. I'm just kind of looking at my notes. Yeah. So, I mean, it really, as I'm looking at some of what we talked about and what you've sent me, is that, today, you said today and every day I wake up and I love the challenges of MyStart Health. And you're just at the moment, although you will get to be pretty large, I trust that, is that you're a small fish in a big pond, but boy, you are making a loud sound and it's awesome. It's
Thank
really
you.
awesome. Yeah. It's really awesome. And you got your mom and your your mom and your wife going, and you're kind of like, Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder going, yeah, but don't say that, or wait a minute, what about this?
Now I've got way more than them. I've got like an army of women that I'm building. Like when yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's coming. A lot of this is gonna come from community,
Yeah.
right? It's not gonna come from the traditional healthcare system. They're still gonna lag
No.
behind another 20 years probably. And
Yes.
so it's gonna be women telling their story and sharing their journey. And that's what I'm excited about is being the platform behind them that empowers them to tell that story and to bring other women alongside them to uplift an entire community, an entire generation of women.
Agreed. I mean, and by the way, that's feminine. Community, connection, collaboration is a feminine trait. It's not a masculine trait.
Yeah.
Masculine, again, not gender, but masculine is very solo. It's very singular focused. It's
Yeah.
very, I'm on my own. I'm very independent, right?
Yeah.
Community, yes. That's exactly what's going to carry your narrative and your message. Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Love it. Okay. Very good. So where can, right, everybody find you? Social, your website, tell us.
Yeah. MyStart Health, MyStart Health is us. MyStartHealth.com and MyStart Health on social. And then me personally, I'm the Stern Group. That's been my operating kind of brand and business for the last 15 plus years as I've, advised companies and built companies um, over that time. So yeah, that's us. And yeah,
Yeah.
we're super excited to be in the women's health space specifically. Um, we're yeah, we're all in on women's health.
Yeah, well, it's very apparent. I mean, you're very, very, passionate about it. Which one of the socials are you most active on? What would you say?
Uh,
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn?
TikTok's coming for sure.
Oh,
It's
good.
probably it's
Okay.
probably still it's probably still Instagram. But and Instagram and Facebook probably still most heavy. But yeah, TikTok is coming in a big way for
Good.
sure.
Very good. That's
Yeah.
a good place for you to be. I like that. Okay, so what would you like to offer my women listeners to give them kind of an incentive to try out My Start Health?
Yeah, we would love to offer everyone 25% off lifetime. So one of my principles from the beginning is that we make everything as simple as possible. There's no hidden fees, no hidden costs, no extra add-ons. Like if we offer you something, we offer you something for life.
Ah,
So yeah, for your crew, yeah, my team and I would love to, offer everyone that wants to join the GLP-1 or the hormone program or both, 25% off their lifetime journey with MyStar.
it's very generous of you. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
you
Okay,
got it.
so again, everyone, and if you're new, what I have is it's called Portal of Joy, and all of this will be in the show notes and in the marketing of this episode. And that is when you opt in, it requires you in order to get the code, right, for trying My Start Health, is that you opt in simple, the drill, your name, your email. And when you get into the Portal of Joy, not only will you be able to access Matt's generous offer, but all the other vetted high value gifts that my guests have offered, right? So you jump in and there's just a whole treasure chest of offers. But that's where you'll find Matt's code so that you can go ahead and try that out. And you'll go to MyStart Health, I assume, and put in a
You
code.
you got it.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you for that. Wonderful conversation. We could have easily gone for another hour for sure.
I think so.
It's a big topic.
It is. There's so many places we can go with it. So hopefully we have a chance to continue it in the future.
Yeah,
As we get really rolling here and we build this army, would love to join you again and have a deeper conversation.
that would be terrific. And thank you for kind of taking the lead in the personalization, the impact, making it definitely more human, right? The whole process. So I really, really appreciate that. And I know the women that are listening are as well. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Marla.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. And you be well, be blessed. And I will be seeing you in the next episode. All right. Take care. Hey, thanks for listening. You can find more entrepreneurial stories and resources at marladiane.com. And while you're there, enjoy my free downloads to up-level your business and your life. And Instagram. It's my favorite place to hang out. Let's connect there. If you received inspiration from the episode, I'd sure appreciate a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. Until next episode, take care.